Welcome to Mind Map MCQ. In this video, we will explore latitudes, longitudes, time zones, and much more. Understanding these concepts is crucial for grasping how we measure location on Earth and how time is standardized across globe. Let us get started and enhance our knowledge for competitive exams. Prepare, practice, prevail. What is the latitude of North Pole? The options are 90 degree north, 90 degree south, 180 degree north, 180 degree south. The correct option is A, 90 degree north. The latitude of North Pole is 90 degrees north. It is the northernmost point on Earth's surface, marking the zenith of the planet's axis of rotation. At this latitude, all lines of longitude converge and it experiences a phenomenon known as the polar day during summer and the polar night during winter due to the tilt of Earth's axis. 2. What is the longitude of the Prime Meridian? The options are 180 degree, B 90 degree east, C 0 degree, or D 90 degree west. The correct option is C 0 degrees. The longitude of the Prime Meridian is 0 degree, serving as the reference point for the world's time zones. 3. What is the maximum possible longitude? The options are 90 degrees, 270 degrees, 360 degrees, or D 180 degrees. The correct option is D 180 degrees. The 188th meridian is exactly opposite the Prime Meridian and is located at 180 degrees east or 180 degrees west. Essentially, they are one and the same longitude. 4. Which of the following lines run parallel to the equator? A. Longitudes, B. Latitudes, C. Prime Meridian, D. International Dateline. The correct option is B. Latitudes. Latitudes are lines running parallel to the equator on Earth's surface measured in degrees north or south. They range from 0 degrees at the equator to 90 degrees at the poles. North Pole being 90 degrees north and South Pole 90 degrees south. These imaginary circles help in locating positions relative to the equator and are crucial for understanding climate zones, navigation, and the Earth's axial tilt effects. Each latitude line marks a unique parallel around the globe affecting daylight duration and climate patterns as one moves closer to the poles. What is the significance of the Prime Meridian? The options are A. It serves as the starting point for measuring longitudes. B. It divides the Earth into the northern and the southern hemispheres. C. It marks the boundary between time zones. Or D. None of the above. The correct option is A. It serves as the starting point for measuring longitudes. The Prime Meridian, located at 0 degrees longitude, serves as the reference point from which all other longitudes are measured. It divides the Earth into eastern and the western hemispheres and passes through Greenwich, London. Which line marks the division between one calendar day and the next? The options are A. Equator, B. Tropic of Cancer, C. Tropic of Capricorn, D. International Dateline. The correct option is D. International Dateline. The line that marks the division between one calendar day and the next is called the International Dateline, or IDL. It generally follows the 180th meridian but deviates to accommodate political and geographical considerations. Crossing from west to east, it moves the calendar backward by 1 day, while crossing from east to west moves it forward by 1 day. The IDL is crucial for maintaining consistent global timekeeping and ensures coordination of dates across different time zones and regions worldwide. 7. How many degrees of longitude are there between the prime meridian and the international dateline? The options are A 45 degree, B 180 degree, C 0 degree, D 360 degree. The correct option is B 180 degree. Between the prime meridian, which is at 0 degrees, and the international dateline or IDL, which generally follows the 180th meridian, there are 180 degrees of longitude counted east or west of prime meridian. This span covers half of Earth's circumference. The ideal is significant for determining the change of calendar days, shifting time zones, and maintaining global time coordination. It is not strictly a straight line due to political and geographical adjustments, but generally runs through the Pacific Ocean to minimize disruptions in date changes across nations. 8. How many standard time zones are there in the world? A 6, B 12, C 24, D 48. The correct option is C 24. There are 24 standard time zones in the world. These time zones are each 15 degrees of longitude wide, as the Earth rotates approximately 15 degrees every hour. They are centered on meridians of longitude, with the prime meridian, that is 0 degrees, serving as the starting point. Each time zone typically differs from its neighbor by 1 hour, although some are offset by half or 3/4 hours for practical and political reasons. Time zones help coordinate accurate timekeeping globally, crucial for communication, travel, and commerce. 9. What is the angular distance north or south of the equator called? The options are A. Prime meridian, B. Longitude, C. Latitude, D. International dateline. The correct option is C. Latitude. The angular distance north or south of the equator is called latitude. It is measured in degrees, with 0 degrees at the equator increasing to a maximum of 90 degrees at the north, 90 degrees north latitude, and 90 degrees at the south pole, that is 90 degrees south latitude. Latitude lines, also known as parallels, are run parallel to the equator and help to determine the location of a place on Earth's surface relative to the equator. 10. What happens when you fly from Seattle in USA to Tokyo in Japan flying due west? The options are A. You lose a day, B. You gain a day, C. Time remains the same, D. The day changes to midnight. The correct option is B. You gain a day. When flying from Seattle, USA to Tokyo, Japan, flying due west, you cross the international dateline. This crossing results in gaining a calendar day. For example, if one departs Seattle on a Monday and flies westward across the IDL, one will arrive in Tokyo on a Tuesday. 11. What is the standard time zone difference for each 15 degrees of longitude? The options are A. 60 minutes, B. 15 minutes, C. 30 minutes, or D. 2 hours. The correct option is A. 60 minutes. For every 15 degrees of longitude east or west of the prime meridian, that is 0 degrees, there is typically 1 hour difference in the standard time. This difference arises because the Earth completes one full rotation or 360 degrees in approximately 24 hours. Therefore, each hour corresponds roughly to a 15-degree segment of longitude. 12. What is the difference in time between two consecutive longitudes? The options are A. 4 hours, B. 111 minutes, C. 60 minutes, D. 4 minutes. The correct option is D. 4 minutes. The difference in time between two consecutive longitudes, such as between 15 degrees east and 16 degrees east, is approximately 4 minutes. This calculation comes from the fact that the Earth completes one full rotation every 24 hours corresponding to 360 degrees of longitude. Therefore, each degree of longitude represents about 4 minutes of time difference. 13. If it is 12 noon at Prime Meridian, what time is it at 45 degree west longitude? A. 11 am, B. 9 am, C. 1 pm, or D. 3 pm. The correct option is B. 9 am. Time difference between two successive longitudes is 4 minutes. So for 45 degrees, the difference in time shall be 45 degrees into 4 minutes per degree, which equals to 180 minutes, which is 3 hours. As one goes east of Prime Meridian, one gains time, while going west, one would lose time. So time at 45 degrees west should be 9 am. 14. What is the time at 135 degrees east longitude when it is 6 pm at the Prime Meridian? A. 3 pm, B. 12 midnight, C. 3 am next day, or D. 9 pm. The correct option is C. 3 am next day. Time difference between Prime Meridian and 135 degree east will be 135 degree multiplied by 4 minutes per degree, which equals to 540 minutes or 9 hours. As we travel east, we gain time. If it is 6 pm at Prime Meridian, adding 9 hours gives us the local time at 135 degrees east. So local time at 135 degree east will be 6 pm plus 9 hours, which is 3 am the next day. 15. Which latitude line marks the boundary between the Earth's temperate and polar zones in the northern hemisphere? The options are A. Equator, B. Antarctic Circle, C. Tropic of Cancer, or D. Arctic Circle. The correct option is D. Arctic Circle. The latitude line that marks the boundary between Earth's temperate and the polar zones in the northern hemisphere is the Arctic Circle, located at approximately 66.5 degrees north. 16. Which direction must you travel to gain a day when crossing the international date line? The options are A. West, B. North, C. South, D. East. The correct option is A. West. When traveling from east to west across the international date line, a person must add one day to their calendar. As the Earth rotates from west to east, any location west of the international date line is one calendar day ahead of locations to the east of the line. For example, if it is a Monday just east of the ideal, when you cross westward over the ideal, it will be Tuesday. Conversely, crossing from west to east requires subtracting a day as you move into a time zone where the calendar date is one day behind. 17. The standard meridian for Indian Standard Time is A. 82.5 degree east, B. 75 degree east, C. 90 degree east, D. 60 degree east. The correct option is A. 82.5 degree east. The standard meridian for Indian Standard Time IST is located at 82.5 degrees east longitude. This meridian passes through the city of Prayagraj, Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh, India. IST is UTC plus 5 hours 30 minutes, meaning it is 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of Coordinated Universal Time or UTC. The meridian at 82.5 degree east was chosen to standardize time across India, encompassing the country's vast geographical extent while maintaining uniformity in timekeeping throughout the nation. 18. If it is 10 pm in Tokyo, 135 degree east, then what is the time in Cairo, 30 degree east? The options are A 3 a.m. the previous day, B 3 a.m. the next day, C 4 p.m. or D 3 p.m. The correct option is D 3 p.m. Difference in longitudes between Tokyo and Cairo is 135 degree minus 30 degree is equal to 105 degrees. Difference in time would be 105 degrees into 4 minutes per degree, which is 420 minutes or 7 hours. As one travels west, one loses time. Time in Cairo is equal to 10 p.m. minus 7 hours is equal to 3 p.m. 19. How many degrees of latitude are there between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn? The options are 90 degrees, B 23.5 degrees, C 47 degrees or D 66.5 degrees. The correct option is C 47 degrees. The Tropic of Cancer is located at 23.5 degrees north latitude, while the Tropic of Capricorn is at 23.5 degrees south latitude. The total degrees of latitude between these two lines is the sum of their absolute values. 23.5 degrees north plus 23.5 degrees south is equal to 47 degrees. 20. Which line marks the southern boundary of the Earth's tropical zone? The options are A equator, B Tropic of Capricorn, C Tropic of Cancer, D Antarctic Circle. The correct option is B Tropic of Capricorn. The line that marks the southern boundary of Earth's tropical zone is the Tropic of Capricorn. Located at approximately 23.5 degrees south latitude, it signifies the farthest point south where the sun can be directly overhead at noon, occurring during the December solstice. This latitude line defines the southern edge of the tropics, a region characterized by warm temperatures and relatively stable climate patterns throughout the year. 21. What is the longitude of the standard meridian for Central European Time or CET? The options are A 0 degrees, B 45 degree east, C 30 degree east or D 15 degree east. The correct option is D 15 degree east. The standard meridian for Central European Time is located at 15 degree east longitude. This meridian helps standardize time across countries in Central Europe, providing a reference for CET, which is UTC plus 1 during standard time and UTC plus 2 during daylight saving time. The selection of 15 degree east as the standard meridian ensures that the time zone is centered geographically, helping to maintain consistent and coordinated timekeeping across the region, which includes countries like Germany, France and Italy. 22. If it is 6 p.m. in New Delhi, which is at 82.5 degree east longitude, what is the local time in Tokyo, which is at 135 degree east longitude? The options are A 9:30 p.m. the following day, B 9:30 a.m., C 9:30 p.m. or D 9:30 a.m. the previous day. The correct option is C 9:30 p.m. Difference in longitudes between New Delhi and Tokyo is 135 minus 82.5 is equal to 52.5 degrees. Time difference is equal to 82.5 into 4, which equals to 10 minutes or 3 hours 30 minutes. As we travel east, we gain time. So time in Tokyo would be 6 p.m. plus 3 hours 30 minutes, which is 9:30 p.m. the same day. 23. If it is 3 p.m. in Paris, which is at 15 degree east longitude, what is the local time in New York, which is at 75 degree west longitude? The options are A 10 a.m., B 9 a.m., C 11 a.m. or D 12 noon. The correct option is B 9 a.m. Now the difference in longitudes between Paris and New York is equal to 15 plus 75 is equal to 90 degrees. Now this calculation is a bit counterintuitive to what we had done earlier. The two longitudes here are added instead of the usual subtraction. This is because Paris lies to the east of Prime Meridian while New York lies west of it. So the difference is actually 75 degree minus of minus 15 degrees, which equals to 90 degrees. So now the time difference becomes 90 degrees into 4, which equals to 360 minutes or 6 hours. Now since New York is to the west of Paris, we lose time as we travel west. So time in New York would be 3 p.m. minus 6 hours, which equals to 9 a.m. 24. What is the purpose of daylight saving time? The options are A. To provide more daylight during evening hours, B. To standardize global time zones, C. To reduce the length of the day, or D. To adjust for seasonal changes. The correct option is A. To provide more daylight during evening hours. Daylight saving time, or DST, aims to make better use of daylight during the longer days of summer. By shifting the clock forward 1 hour, people can enjoy more daylight in the evening, reducing the need for artificial lighting and conserving energy. DST typically starts in spring and ends in autumn when clock is adjusted back to standard time. If it is 1st January 2024 to the west of international dateline, what is the date just to the east of international dateline? The options are A. 1st January 2024, B. 2nd January 2024, C. 31st December 2023, or D. none of the above. The correct option is C. 31st December 2023. If it is 1st January 2024 just to the west of international dateline, then it is 31st December 2023 just to the east. Crossing the international dateline from west to east subtracts a day, while crossing from east to west adds a day. Therefore, the date just to the east of the line is always 1 day earlier than the date to the west. What is the distance between two successive longitudes at the equator? The options are A. 151.32 kilometers, B. 131.32 kilometers, C. 91.32 kilometers, or D. 111.32 kilometers. The correct option is D. 111.32 kilometers. The Earth's circumference at the equator is approximately 40,075 kilometers. There are 360 degrees of longitude, so the distance between two successive longitudes at the equator can be calculated by dividing the circumference by 360. Distance would be 111.32 kilometers. Thus, the distance between two successive longitudes at the equator is approximately 111.32 kilometers. 27. What is the distance between two successive latitudes? The options are A. 91.13 kilometers, B. 111.13 kilometers, C. 131.13 kilometers, or D. 151.13 kilometers. The correct option is B. 111.13 kilometer. The distance between two successive latitudes, 1 degree of latitude, is relatively constant because latitude lines are parallel to each other. The Earth's circumference along the meridian from pole to pole is approximately 40,008 kilometers. So the distance between two successive latitudes would be 111.13. 28. The distance between two successive longitudes at the poles is A. 0, B. 111.32 kilometers, C. 111.13 kilometers, or D. 62.13 kilometers. The correct option is A. 0. The distance between two successive longitudes at the pole is essentially 0, unlike at the equator where the distance between two successive longitudes is 111.32 kilometers, lines of the same longitude converge as they approach the poles. At north and the south poles, all lines of longitude meet, so there is no measurable distance between them. Thus, the distance between two successive longitudes at the poles is 0 kilometers. 29. A person is standing at the North Pole. He starts walking south for 1 kilometer. He then walks west for 10 kilometers and then walks north for 1 kilometer. How far is he from his starting location? The options are 12 kilometers, B 1 kilometer, C 0 kilometers, or D 10 kilometers. The correct option is C 0 kilometers. After walking 1 kilometer south from North Pole, the person moves to a latitude 1 kilometer away from the pole. Walking west for 10 kilometers at this latitude does not change the north-south position. Finally, walking 1 kilometer north brings them back to the North Pole. The direct distance from North Pole to the person's final position along the curved path of the Earth's surface remains 0 kilometers since they return to their starting point. 30. What is the local time in Beijing, which is at 120 degree east, when it is 6 p.m. in London at 0 degrees? A. 2 a.m. next day, B. 10 a.m., C. 10 p.m. previous day, or D. 2 a.m. The correct option is A. 2 a.m. the next day. Difference in longitude between Beijing and London would be 120 degrees. The time difference obviously would be 120 degrees into 4 minutes per degree, which is 480 minutes or 8 hours. We gain time as we travel east. So time in Beijing would be 6 p.m. plus 8 hours is equal to 2 a.m. the next day.